interestingly enough, I was actually more of a tomboy when I was in primary. One of the ways that helped me, because I have been doing freelance for a really long time, I wasn't working with an agency, is networking. I usually tell people this was a journey of faith for me for Miss Universe 2024.
The runway and pageantry is like water and oil. They're totally different world.
Runway, you're representing a brand. Pageantry, you're representing yourself as the brand.
Almost 60% is
Yeah.
judged at the boot camp.
The boot camp helps you find who you are. One of the things I maybe might have disliked about pageantry is the fact that as a model, especially as a starting model, you might have to spend.
School is key, and you must be able to have papers to be able to be in pageantry. I was talking to the Minister of Tourism, Miss Miano, that there's so much that we can do as beauty queens.
This industry is a beautiful industry, but we also go through a lot. So when I heard there's an association being formed, I was like, I definitely want to be there. So it's called Kenya Models Association.
Our queen here can represent you in court.
Yes.
So if you're having a problem, she supports and gives a lot of support to models.
I've started a modeling academy, and the reason I've started it is also so as to also regulate and streamline the industry.
Wow, karibuni, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends where you are. We are at season 2, episode 14. Oh my God, we don't take it for granted. For those who've been watching this season, it's great. We brought different people, we brought different characters. Today we have an amazing lady. I can't wait to hear her story. She's a beautiful story. So, madam, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
I would like you to introduce yourself to our guests, our audience today.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Stacey Sang. I am the current Miss Universe Kenya second runners-up 2024. Apart from modeling, I'm also an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, an entrepreneur, and a creative as well. Yeah.
Great. So, what we educate people here is more on fashion, modeling, and pageantry. But we stick on pageantry a bit because a lot of people do not understand pageantry. So we just want to take you back to your story. What are those memorable times in your younger age? You have a memorable, maybe nursery or primary?
When it comes to pageantry or just
No,
my
just
life?
generally. People think, some think queens were never born, queens never go to the washroom.
Oh.
There's a lot of perception out here.
Yes.
Yes.
So interestingly enough, I was actually more of a tomboy when I was in primary. I used to play football, and I was just the only girl in a boys team, like boys against boys, and I'm the only girl. But play either the goalkeeper or the striker sometimes. My mom had a big problem with me because I'll always come back home very dirty, but I really enjoyed that time of my childhood. Yeah.
Because the current episode that's going on 2 weeks ago, the episode that was on was a model and a referee at the same time. So it's interesting. People think our models cannot, they're too fragile to be able to handle a ball or just even that. I keep telling guys, pageant is about servantship and just giving back to society.
Yeah.
So getting back to now pageantry, when did you feel this is your thing?
So, interestingly enough, I've always loved fashion modeling. I loved the runway so much. So ever since I was in high school, I always knew I would find myself in runway one way or another. So when I finished high school, that was about 2016, I started now looking for runway gigs and all that. So I loved runway. I never thought I would actually be into pageantry. So I remember in 2017, there's a college, I think it was called VIP. I can't remember the full name. I was in that college for a very short time, just for a short course. And during one of the classes, one of my teachers came and asked me, Stacey, what are you doing here? Don't you know there is Mr. and Miss VIP? What are you? You're told you could be a model. I'm like, no, I'm not into pageantry. No, I need to see you go for training. I'm like, okay, sawa, I'll go for training. So that's the first time I actually now got that interaction with pageantry. So there was a Mr. and Miss VIP. I didn't really understand pageantry as much then. That was in 2017. Yeah, 2017 towards the end. I didn't understand pageantry that much, but I really enjoyed it because now I'd still be walking in heels on the runway. So that was my thing. For that one, I think I was in the top 10. Didn't
Yeah.
expect it, but yeah, I
Yeah,
was there for the vibes. But then from that time, it actually opened up now my runway gigs more because now I interacted with the trainers. They were sending me auditions, so now I now went into runway Vizuri. But then now I bumped again into Miss Universe in 2019, which is a very funny story.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the last episode was Miss International 2022 Kenya,
Okay.
Cindy Sandy.
Yeah.
So she also started with the runway, fashion, and modeling part. Then her story was in between. The trainer was like, "You can't be this smiley on the runway.
Yeah.
You need to go and start doing pageantry. This is not for you." So that's how she transited from fashion to modeling. Almost the same as yours. You
Yes.
started with fashion, but somebody would ask some models say, I'm trying to get a place where I can get my gigs." So you said you started looking. Where were you looking
For the runway gigs.
for the runway gigs?
So one of the ways that helped me, because I have been doing freelance for a really long time, I wasn't working with an agency, is networking. So the first step, that first time when I did Mr. and Miss VIP, I really networked with the trainers, and they had been in the industry for a while. So they used to post about auditions. They would send me links on Instagram about auditions. So that's how I learned. And even for someone who's watching, I think the best way, especially when you're starting out and are a freelancer, network, meet as many models, meet as many trainers, sell yourself out there, and they're the ones who are going to actually connect you to this as you're starting before you find yourself in that market. Yeah.
Yes. So in that process, one of those runway that is very memorable to you, which one would you select, or two?
I think the most memorable was Fashion High Tea. That was in 2019. Such a glamorous show. It was so beautiful. I I enjoyed myself on that runway. It gave me that international vibe that I was looking for, and I really, really loved and grew and worked with amazing designers as well.
2019. So you're working with Moches Dorothy.
Yes,
How was it working? Most models are very scared of. I call her my sister.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Dorothy can be tough. She is tough, but she's also really nice.
Yes, yes.
And I actually thank God for her. She gave me that opportunity to work for Fashion Haiti, which was one of the biggest runways, at least during my time. And as much as she was tough, there was a reason why she was tough, because now her shows were beautiful.
Yes,
The
yes.
end result was so beautiful, and yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, because same to the last guest, one of our biggest memorable fashion event was Samantha Bridal. So I remember during that time, Samantha Bridal and Fashion IT used to come at the same time.
Yeah.
And those were the biggest fashion events. If you're in it, then you're the model in the country. So apart from Dorothy Moches, who else have you worked with in the fashion modeling runway?
I've worked with Odaumo. I don't know if you've heard of Odaumo. It's a Kenyan brand. So
Yes.
they've done, I think, 2 runways. I've
Yes.
worked with them. I've also worked with, there's a guy called Brian Robert. Actually, he's the one I started working with.
Yeah, no, Brian, yes.
Yeah, we did Brad's Fashion in
Yes, yes.
2018, I believe. That was actually my first runway ever.
Yes.
And then there's another lady, I can't remember her name, but I also did her runway as well. Yeah. Yes. Those
This
are the
all are
ones I can remember.
networking, you're freelanced, moving up and down, trying to get work.
Yes, that's just freelance and networking, making a lot of model friends who are at least in the industry or ahead of you, so that they know how the industry works. So that's how I got my gigs, actually.
Yeah, because a lot of people, I think most Kenyans wait for things to come to them. They do not want to go out there and try and get stuff done. So they want stuff done for them. So I think you're on the right way, on the right path to success in that industry. So you mentioned 2019
Yes.
Miss Universe. I think I was involved in that.
Yeah.
I got Akina Gigi, one of the sponsors. This is Gorse Malango. Last minute when they were stuck to get the Panari. I was involved in the beginning because of that. I sat in as a audition judge, and I think it was crazy. I remember Ruby, there was a Yera, there was a Carol Kinuthia. That year, there was serious competition.
Yeah.
So in the audition, did you make it to the runway on the
Yes.
final night?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And interesting.
Yes.
So I had told you I wasn't so much into pageantry yet,
Pageantry,
as
yes.
much as I had done one before. So how I got into doing Miss Universe
Yes.
2019 was I was with a friend the day before for a shoot, and she was going for Miss Universe, and there was a form they needed to fill and go with it. So she was looking for a cyber. So in the midst of looking for a cyber, she asked me, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I'm like, nothing. I tried to find your audition in Miss Universe. I'm like, oh, okay, so tunafanya.
You
So
won't.
let's go. So that's how I found myself in the audition at Two Rivers, and I actually now made the cut. Yeah.
Because I know it was tough. We were very tough judges at
Yes.
that. Sometimes if you make it to the audition with very tough judges, it definitely it's going to be smooth for you in the main event.
Yes.
Yeah, so you've made that in it. What is the process before the main event? Is there a boot camp? Is there charity in between?
Yeah, so for that particular one, there was boot camp, and there were a few challenges we did so that they used it to reduce the numbers. I remember we still went to rivers. One of the activities we did was serving at that cafe as waitresses.
I was
It
there.
was
I was
really
served.
fun.
Yeah.
And then there was the lift challenge.
Yes.
The is it called?
The pitch there.
Yeah, the pitch.
Yes,
The
yes.
pitch, which was you're just given a product. When you get lift, you get your product, and you have to pitch yourself within those few seconds before the lift opens again. And then we had the quick fire challenge as well. So that was really nice. And then our boot camp wasn't we weren't staying at one place. We're just going home and coming back for the boot camp now for the time that we were there. Yeah.
If someone would ask, why is all this? People think pageantry, they're related with modeling. I tell guys, the runway and pageantry is like water and oil. They're totally different world.
Yeah.
In fashion, you've never have spoken English
Yeah.
or any language, but you can still make it in New York or Tokyo or London fashion and make a lot of money. In pageantry, you must articulate.
Yes.
So my question to you is, what is it necessary to do the boot camps, to do the challenges and stuff like that?
Yes, it is necessary. And I
Yes.
think when someone asks me what's the difference between runway and pageantry, I always tell them runway, you're representing a brand. Pageantry, you're representing yourself as the brand.
Great.
So now the boot camp helps you find who you are. It develops your character in terms of, like, for example, things like the quick fire, they help you develop quick thinking even when you're before a question and answer panel, right? We have the pitching. It helps you become confident. So the boot camp is very necessary to develop you as a person, as an individual, so that you are able to, step out there as the queen or the king for that particular pageant. Yeah.
Yeah, true, very true. I remember in 2001, I was part of the management at Miss World. And that's the year Miss World was done in South Africa's city. And that's the only time Africa has won Miss World, Agbani from Nigeria. So what happens is in the boot camp, you realize like Miss World, Miss Universe, they're like 100 or 120 contestants. But the event goes for like 2 hours, unlike ours where we are 20 or 17 and takes 4 or 5 hours. That means during the boot camp where they're there for 1 month, almost 100 have been judged. They only have those 40 girls to be judged on the night, but you have to go on stage because your country has to see you.
Yes.
So boot camps plays a lot. Almost 60% is judged at the boot camp. Yes. So when I was coming back in 2001, our contestant was called Daniela Kimaro, Miss World. So she was very lucky among the 10 girls who went to meet the late Nelson Mandela. So Mzee Tata was there, and Daniela is asked, "How is Daniel?" And she went blank. She didn't realize this guy was asking, "Who's Daniel Moy?" So most guys knew as Moy.
Yeah.
So again, that's where now that pitch or quick, she wasn't very fast. And these guys, of course, the organizers were like, "Oh, you are miss. She may never be on her foot." So that's how she lost that being in the top 40 and the top 20. Now, and then it goes back to again, how fast are you? Now, Miss America in Miss World the same night was asked, what has been your worst moment in your life? And she was like, oh, my worst moment is when I didn't have a chance to be part of the 10 guys who went to meet Mandela. Of course, in South Africa, Mandela was the biggest thing for her. It gives her points because it wants you to be fast. You may never be, probably she doesn't care about Mandela, she's American, but that because of relationship, and she's going to be Miss World with that crown. So she was second runner up in the pageant. Probably if she didn't answer that, she would have gotten that in it. So again, the world out there, boot camp is key. I see a lot of beauty queens in this country with like 10 sachets. They've gone for a club event. They've gone for an event without boot camp. So when you ask them about pageant, they don't even understand that they have those many. So again, for you to be in that world circle, like Tracy is in Miss Universe and stuff, you must be able to have those challenges to make it to the main event.
Yes.
So you are in Miss Universe 2019 Kenya.
Yeah.
We had Panari for the event. How did it go?
So I really enjoyed the show because one of the things I maybe might have disliked about pageantry is the fact that as a model, especially as a starting model, you might have to spend a lot. But the good thing is we had a lot of sponsors. I think the only thing we bought for ourselves was shoes for that event. So it had sponsors for hair, for the gowns, and for everything. So at least that smoothened the process. The show was beautiful. Everything was amazing. And I actually made it to the top 10 as well for Miss Universe 2019. So once I made it to the top 10, that's when I realized maybe there's something for me in the pageantry space. Yeah, and particularly Miss Universe. I loved it.
Yeah, because I remember looking at the pictures that were taken. I think there's somebody who sponsored the hair, and the photographer was amazing. The girls were just looking in the red and black, I think. There's the photo that you guys did with the hair. Was great. I was just telling Cindy in the last episode, when we did the pageants then in the late 90s, early 2000s, everything was sponsored, and sponsored by the biggest lines. African Heritage, which was the biggest African designers, came in as sponsors for Miss World. Kiko Romeo was big, was part of that. We had Dahu giving the car. So for you as a model out there, you want to be part of it next year. And like you're saying, you wanted to do Miss Universe because there's that glamour, everything well planned and stuff like that. Because I remember getting into Panari and just to set up the photo booth with the MUA. It was just amazing. Went into the stage and they were all female judges. Just something different from the norm. So you've done Miss Universe, you've done your challenges, you're in top 10, and you're wondering, do I still go back to fashion or try a pageantry again?
So yes, there was that question. However, now the problem was, I think after 2019, there wasn't Miss Universe.
Yes.
In 2020, I'm not so sure.
When the former Miss World got 2022,
Roshana.
Yes.
So there wasn't Miss Universe again for a while. And for me, at that point, as I said, I fell in love with Miss Universe. And Miss Universe has a standard. And I was like, which other pageantry can I really do apart from Miss Universe? So now, since I couldn't go back, then I went back to my normal life, continued with runway. And then now I also got into commercial at some point. Started doing some adverts here and there.
Yes, because it's still back because your connection is almost the same with the previous guest. She was in Miss International, where it's more cultural than the Japanese. It's cultural, it's their tradition and stuff. Miss Universe is slightly fashion, it's glamour. Miss World is charity and stuff like that. So you say you found a place where this is where you want. It's a bit connected to fashion runway, and it's still pageantry. So you've done a few ads.
Yes, I've done a few ads.
One or two before.
So I've done 3 ads so far. So I did a campaign for Jumia. I believe that was in 2021 or 2022, the Black Friday one. It was a billboard all over the country. That was my very first one.
Wow,
I really thank God for that. It was a big one. And then the second one I did was for Bolt. It was a social media campaign.
Bolt, the taxi?
I think you've seen, the taxi. You've seen an advert for seed bolts, where they're dispersing seeds, some black charcoal seeds.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so I was in that
Oh,
advert
yeah,
as
yeah.
well. And then now the one that I am in currently and it's actually running is for the Nice and Lovely Baby Naturals. So
Yes.
I'm the mother in that
Ah,
advert. Yeah.
a young mother.
Yes, a
Ah,
young
great.
mother.
So, any pageant before now, you went for Miss Universe 2024?
No, after Miss Universe 20, no, actually after Miss Universe 2019, oh my gosh, I almost forgot, and it was such a big one. So after Miss Universe 2019, I was in UON law school. So once I've done Miss Universe, I go to uni, and then my people are like, Stacey, you need to do Miss UON. I'm like, nah, I'm from Miss Universe. Why am I doing Miss
Yes.
UON? Can I be, no, you need to do it. You can do it. I'm like, okay, fine. Let me now do Miss UON now as a pageant that I've chosen to do Miss UON Parklands. So I went and did and became Miss UON Parklands in
Wow.
2019. Yeah.
So I know a lot of people feel the pageantry circle are failures, girls who don't want to study and stuff like that. But just correcting them, when you look at Miss World, Miss Universe, most of those girls are either doctors to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, and stuff. But the Kenyan mentality is girls walking naked on stage, girls looking for mzungu because of the size and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So in law school,
Yes.
which is very tough,
Yeah.
how did you mix pageantry and school?
So I think luckily enough, God has given me the gift of multitasking because He has given me so many skills and talents, and He's always enabled me to find ways to work each and every one of them differently. So I never neglected school. That is a given. Never neglect school. But now I got time because now Miss UN just was for a week, and then now the event was one day. So the trainings were usually in the evening after classes. So at least it didn't affect my classes. So I used to go for training, and then now the event is just one night. So it didn't really affect me then. And as I've said, I never and I would never actually advise anyone to neglect school because of all these other things. Get your degree, get your school going, and yeah, all these other things will fall in place as well.
So your end, for those who don't know, is the University of Nairobi.
Yeah.
The
The
is the only one with you start with university. The rest is Kenyatta University, Jomo Kenyatta, stuff like that. So it's not a very easy place to be. The lawyers and big lawyers that come from that university. So she's part. She'll tell you she's practicing now. She's a beauty queen.
Yeah.
So number one, for those parents who have the young kids who just getting into pageantry, those guys who want to do pageantry, school is key, and you must be able to have papers to be able to be in pageantry. Some are lucky to pass. I mean, when you go to most of these big pageants, they say you must be a C plus and above to be able to go to the catwalk. That means already you are a college or a university. So those guys who are out there thinking pageantry is for failure, you're in the wrong place. And that's why we started by saying fashion show, anybody can be in fashion show. That's why they go to Sudan and pick those girls in the bush there who cannot speak anything, and they still make millions. It's hard to make millions in pageantry because you're a servant, but you can rechange this and make a lot of money in pageantry when you become a big brand and also do enough for the society. So you've done campus, you're the most beautiful lawyer in UON Parklands. In campus, did you have like do any social responsibility with the school?
So unfortunately for the campus, when the time was Miss UN Backlands, we didn't really get support. And I think that is something because I was also new in the pageant world.
Yes.
I definitely knew like the organizers would support you with your projects and all that. So I didn't really get support and I wasn't able to do much. However, me and Mr. Parklands, who won, we started a project called Kumbuka. We didn't continue with it after uni because it was also a tough project. So the project was focused on the post-election violence that happened in 2007, just to retell the stories and advocate for peace and unity. So we used to we walked around, found people who might have been affected, we recorded their stories. We unfortunately the project didn't see the light of day as we had wanted, but yeah, that is what we had focused on. Did it for a while, but yeah.
Yeah, I keep saying the little you do as a queen, it doesn't matter. It's important that you felt you have to give back to humanity. Is this the same thing as a Christian? They say once one person changes into salvation, the angels in heaven are rejoicing.
Yeah.
So whatever you did, of course, just reminding guys that we need unity and peace. We are a family. That's very important. So you're done with campus and you're thinking, hey, I need to do something. You've done your ads. So you're like, in 2019, I did something. I want to go back.
Yeah.
So 2024 comes. Remind me or tell us what happened. How did you hear about the Miss Universe and the process?
Okay.
Yes.
So when I finished, I think I finished campus in 2022. And now I was going now to Kenya School of Law. So when I actually went to Kenya School of Law, I took a break from modeling because now any stuff, Kenya School of Law is tough.
I have friends who cry. Some have not made it like 3-4 times.
And my goal was to go to Kenya School of Law once, like
Yes, yes.
go get my 9Ps. 9Ps are like the 9 passes, and become an advocate. So for that, during that season, I placed modeling aside. So I didn't do many runway shows. I didn't do a lot of commercials. I wasn't even applying.
You didn't go for auditions.
I didn't go for auditions. So I was just, focusing on school. And then now that was in 2023. So 2020. Yeah, 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
So now once I finished Kenya School of Law, I started my attachment in 2024 from January to around, it's usually 6 months. So January to around July, June, July. So during that period when I was doing my attachment, I wanted now to go back into modeling. And then now I saw Miss Universe were posting on Instagram. And then my friends were like, Stacey, you can do Miss Universe. The franchise has been taken up by a bubble. Looks like a nice thing. I'm like, okay, I can try it. There's no harm in trying it. Because one thing I believe in is always try. So I was like, okay, fine. At least I'm done with school. I'm almost done with my pupillage, and that is the attachment. And then so I can actually go ahead and try it. So I did the application. It was an online application. So you're supposed to send a few of your details, including a video. So that video was a 1-minute video where you introduce yourself, your project, and also showcase your work. So I wanted to be creative. Like, I'm very intentional when I'm doing things that I actually want to do. So I took a friend of mine. We went and actually recorded a video, made it very creative, combined all the elements they wanted together, and then sent in my application. Yeah.
Wow. So you've sent your application. How long did it take to maybe get a call back? Because sometimes we have so many guys applying, and probably they need only like 20.
Yeah.
It takes a miracle for you. Either you're too outstanding to be part of that 20. Because I keep telling guys, that lady from Turkana who does not have even a phone to get a proper video, and the girl in Nairobi who can go and now get the best videographer who can do Photoshop, they have a lesser chance to get through to auditions. For me, I would think, let's go to Turkana and get that eloquent girl who will compete with that girl in Nairobi. But anyway, I think since COVID, things have changed where I say we can do it online.
Yes.
So did you get a call or you had an email that you've qualified to the next stage?
So the good thing, as you've mentioned about, giving other people chances in various parts of the country, the good thing with online is, and with Miss Universe, they're very intentional. So they gave each county a chance. So even they were doing a bit of their judging on live. So they went Instagram live, they're doing a bit of judging. So you could see they were actually they were looking county per county, trying to give every girl a chance. So that was really good on their part. So the announcement was also done online on an Instagram live. Wow. So you're just waiting. I think it was top 30. So, and my name starts with an S.
Yes.
So before I realized they're doing it according to alphabetical order, I was so tense. I was like, oh my
so
God. So
it started with A.
Yeah. And I'm not seeing my name. I think we're 30. So A, B, Evo. And then now they get to S. Mine now is ST. It's not SA. So wamaliza zote kwanza. And then now I see my name. I was actually seated down in my room, and I cried because I'm imagining that these are so many talented girls. Like I think they got over 300 plus applications. So many talented people, and you're among the 30. I was like, I felt so good.
Yeah,
I felt really good.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. So you've been called. So at Miss Universe, after that call, what is the next stage?
So the next stage was, so they visited each and every girl in their home. Now the different counties, they went to
So if you're in
Turkana.
Lamu,
They went around, and then they came with
that's
gifts.
amazing. Yes.
So they brought us gifts. They were recording. We're doing live shows. They wanted to just see you in your home element, in your natural state.
Who you are, yes.
Yeah, which was really fun. So they came home. They shot. I was with my friends at home. We did a few interviews.
Home
It was
where?
really nice.
Nairobi?
In Nairobi. In Ngatarungai, but yeah, Nairobi.
You didn't want to go to Shags?
No. Well,
or we were chosen from Nairobi?
Yeah.
Because they were going per county.
Yeah, they were going per county. So I represented Kajiado County because now I come from
Rongai.
Ngatarungai.
Okay.
But now they came home, like where my mom stays. So home. So it was really such a good experience.
Beautiful.
Having them come over, bringing in gifts. Like they made us feel so special. Yeah, it was really nice.
I think also, apart from you feeling special, it gives confidence to the parent that this is real.
Yeah.
Because sometimes parents just hear, next thing they see you in bikini and they're like, what? Gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that was proper needed.
Yeah. They were very intentional about it.
So they come to your house, they find out, is this the girl we want to crown to carry our stuff for the 1 year?
Yes.
Then after that,
a bit of voting, and then now top 20 went into now boot camp for 2 weeks, which was such a beautiful boot camp because we were in Argyle Grand Hotel for 2 weeks. So that's when we had our boot camp. So
you feel like a real queen.
Yes, it was really, really nice. The fact that they were able to host each and every one of us during those 2 weeks there. It was really nice being taken care of. They were still gifting us even when we were in boot camp. A lot of gifts every day. They were very intentional with the boot camp as well. I think I can talk about the boot camp at this point. So we used to wake up early, go to gym. Once you're done with gym, you go into the session for the day. So we had different sessions, and they used to bring in different people to talk about different things. We had a makeup session. We had social media where we were taught about personal branding. We had public speaking sessions, and even Ababu was very intentional because there's a day he gave us an impromptu public speaking class. So we were just doing our own things. We were called into the hall, and then he comes, and then now public speaking. He was very intentional about it. So everything about the boot camp was quite intentional. I loved each and every part of it. It was beautiful. Yeah,
because back in the 90s when we were doing it, Sarova was our main hospitality sponsor. So because we wanted to do it the way they do international, so we would do, then before it was the 8 provinces, so we would do the 7 provinces because Northeastern, because of religion, so we couldn't go there because of Islamic. So then we would have like 48 contestants. So we divided it to 2, the first semi-final, second semi-final, national. So the first semi-final is done in Nairobi, where they stay at Pan Africa for like 4 days. They train, then we do the event at either Carnival or Safari Park. Then the second semi-finals is done in Mombasa at White Sands. So you would see Nairobi because there are many entries. So we have 8, then the other provinces 2. So we subdivide. Half of the province goes to Nairobi and the other stuff. So the national finals is done again in Nairobi, where all the girls stay for a week at the Pan Africa Sarover. Then after that, they move to, the winner stays at the Stanley for 1 week. For easy access to the media, can come and see her. There's really, because she's in the middle of town. So for example, if you won, then you have to go back to Rongai. It's hard for them to, you can walk from they can walk from Nation Center or K24 and just come and interview by the poolside and stuff like that, which now makes you feel a queen. By the time you're going for international, you're ready for that. Most of the pageants here, you win, you're by yourself, the franchise owner is not there. So by the time you're going for the national and you're Uko international, you're wondering what's happening. So I think like what we said is all the queens, the 20 of them are at the boot camp, and they're feeling the taste of one of the biggest and the best hotels in Nairobi. So whether you win or not, you are a winner already.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So you are at the boot camp, the event is happening, you've done the etiquette, you've done domestic tourism, you've gone to the giraffe. I see you guys doing the giraffe center and
And
stuff
the
like that.
ostrich farm as well.
Street farm.
Yeah.
So it means there's a lot you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't win, probably you'll pick something. I keep telling the girls, never cry because you didn't win, because you've come out with something. You end up maybe becoming a choreographer, makeup artist and stuff. You must pick on what you didn't get as a crown.
Yeah.
So the event comes.
Yes.
Miss Universe is there. And that's the night of glamour. Miss Universe herself is there to motivate you. I want to be the one sitting on that seat.
know.
Yeah? The honors of Miss Universe are there. One of the most flamboyant cabinet secretary is the honor of the pageant. The setup is crazy.
Yeah.
How do you feel on that night? You're backstage. You're just ready for the first category.
It felt so surreal. Like it was like I couldn't believe it, especially the fact that Miss Universe was there, Shanice. And even the day we were waiting for her so that she can come to the hotel and we receive her, I saw her and I'm like, that is why she was Miss Universe. She's so elegant, she's so beautiful, it was really nice just being in her presence. So the fact that they invested and brought Miss Universe together with the owners, and they invested even in the stage, and it was surreal. Like I can't explain it. It was such a dreamy feeling. Like I am here. I'm seeing my dreams coming to life.
Yeah, I keep telling guys, the event has been done. The boot camp is 60%. This 40% is showbiz, and there's no business like show business. So I wasn't in the country, so I was watching it out online. And it looks like we are getting there as Kenyans. See girls with placards supporting their people. The lighting is proper. The stage is proper. The setup is just amazing. I dream for another beautiful event like that.
Yes.
So we are done. Guys have been shortlisted. The 7 have remained for question and answer. You're backstage.
Yeah.
What are you feeling at that time they're announcing? You had your tense when the A, B, C, D to S.
Yes.
Now this time you are only 7 that are going to on stage.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It is nerve-wracking. I remember, I think we were standing, all of us on stage when they were calling. So when they call, you're counting. So it's 7. They're like, okay, 6 more. The second one, hey, 5 more. The third one, 4 more. Like, hey God, I'm not hearing my name. So when I had my name, and I think even when I was on that stage, I was telling people I felt I wasn't there. Like my mind, I was in another world. So when I had my name, I'm like, okay, I have been called top 7. Okay, so God, I believed you, but I didn't know it was going to go like this. So they called top 7. I was there. I was shocked, but deep down, I had a feeling, and I knew I was meant to be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're there. It's a very tense time. One, you've made it to question and answer.
Yeah.
This is the part where you either make it or break it.
Yes.
Sometimes you're too tense, you forget everything, or the microphone just becomes heavy. What was your question?
The first question I was asked, what was the first question I was asked? I tell people I don't really remember as much, because when you're on that stage, you're like, what is happening?
Yes.
But I remember I was asked a question about what I would sell about my county, Kajiado County. And I talked about wildlife, because we live next to the national park,
exactly,
right?
yeah.
So it's such a beautiful. I talked about wildlife. I talked about community, because Kajiado has the Maasai people, and there's the community. I think those are what I remember I talked about. Yeah,
because sometimes guys forget. You go blank.
Yes.
And I keep telling guys it's natural, because even the best TV presenter sometimes they take 2-3 takes, so it's normal.
Yes, it's very normal.
So you're done with that, and now guys are backstage. Judges are deciding who's gonna win, and now it's time. Drums. Yes. So in Miss Miss Universe, like Miss Earth, they call like the top three, Miss Fire, Wind. But in Miss World, in Miss Universe Kenya, do they call just the top three or the top five? How do they do it?
They
After
called
question
just
answer.
the top three.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So you're there
Yeah.
backstage. The seven of you and one of you, three of you are going on stage.
Yeah.
What is running through your head? Do you think sometimes people get out of stage and like, oh, I didn't answer it correct. I did, you know? So you're backstage. What was running through your mind?
First thing I was praying.
Yeah.
Because I usually tell people this was a journey of faith for me for Miss Universe 2024. I had really put God first. I was very intentional about this particular pageant. So when we went backstage, I was praying and telling God, this is yours. If I'm meant to be there, I will be there. And then also there's that fear because we are 7 amazing girls. Those watu walijibu vizuri.
Yes, yes.
So what are they looking at? Like you're like, God, 3? Okay, I need to be there. I don't know how, but I need to be there. So it's, the nerves are there. You're praying. I had my friend, she's called Brittany, backstage. We're just, just hoping and waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, so usually like in Miss Universe or Miss World, they call the second runners up, then the two winners are holding hands and stuff like that. So did it happen the same way they said, and this is the second runners up?
Yes, it actually happened the same way. We were the 3 of us on stage, and then now,
Also, they call top 3 and you don't know who the winner is?
yes, we were the 3 of us on
Yes,
stage. After
yeah.
top 7, the 3 of us were
Yes.
standing on stage, and then now they started now with the second runners up. So I think it was Big Ted who was announcing the
Yes.
second runners up. At that point when we were top 3, honestly speaking, I did not think I would be the second runners up, either the queen or first runners up.
Yes.
But so when they called my name, I was slightly disappointed. But at that moment, remember, I had told myself this is a journey of faith. The moment I just felt disappointed, it hit me again. This is where God wanted you to be.
Yes, yes.
And I felt gratitude like all over again. And I was just, thank you, God, I made it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It makes me, as I the podcast, I kept telling guys, the first queen was in the Bible and her name was Esther. She went through what exactly you go through, your inner beauty, who are you, your personality and stuff like that. And now you're talking about, it was a journey of faith. The Bible tells me at Matthew 6:33, seek ye the kingdom and the rest of the stuff will be done. And I think at that point, you're seeking, because I keep telling people, any of the 3 girls,
Yeah.
is the grace of God that the crown will land in one of them, because already you have it all.
Yes.
And sometimes when I judge, you find the 3 have tied. So it's just the other 2 or 3, 4 judges that will now separate the winners, because probably you are my number 1. Somebody else is number 1 and stuff like that. So you've been called, and now there's a mix-up, because I was watching it and I can see the first runners up already been called. Her picture is there when they call the winner. So there's already controversy, and it's always painful when you're in the top 20, then you don't appear in the top 7. Already you start gossiping, why didn't I win? Because people want to win.
Yeah.
So how did the first runners up take it? Because already you were second runners up, you felt, hey, I should have won.
Yeah.
This one, her name is there, she's first runners up, and of course girls converse.
Yeah.
You being a strong in faith, you're like, okay, God wants me to be here, and I think there's a reason why I'm put here, probably to change this generation in pageantry.
Yeah.
Was there a feeling that there was something wrong at that point on stage? Because when the picture's there, already it hits back your head. Confusion? What is it?
So I think when I was on stage, I didn't realize that. I actually
Yes.
realized when I watched and I was told about it after,
yes,
because now
yes.
the screen was behind me. But I wouldn't know how the first runners up felt. Maybe she was also confused, definitely. But in my opinion, it might have been a genuine mistake, because how I knew there might not have been a mistake and how I didn't even notice the mistake was because the name of the Miss Universe Kenya was
Yes.
called.
Yes,
So
yes.
her name was called when they were announcing the winner.
Yeah.
But now the technical error was
Team,
the
yes.
first runners-up name
Yes.
was the one which
Yeah,
was
yeah,
put
yeah.
there. So maybe it was a technical
The
error.
technical error.
I wouldn't know.
Yes, yes.
But I do feel that maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, most of the time, sometimes you find when we do events, you give the technical guy the product, then they do the wrong
Yeah.
thing, and then it messes up. By that time, client will never forgive you. Probably the confettis and stuff already there, and you've done the wrong thing.
Yes.
It's like a wedding gone wrong or something. You can never change and correct it. So done, the event is done. You're there as runners up. The responsibility, probably you've signed the contract and stuff. So most beautiful events, glamorous, the country is talking about it. We want to go and take the crown. 2 months, I think, now the girl is supposed to go, and now controversy now comes. Where is our girl? All the way from America, Miss Universe 2005 comes on and say, where is Miss Kenya? Guys already in Mexico. I was part of the organizers of 205, so I know Rachel very well. So Rachel Mbuki is bringing fire on social media. Irene is not there. Does it affect the secretariat that things are now going down? Things are not very good at that point in time. You as a queen was there. Are you helping a sister to overcome this situation?
So at that point, as much as the second runners up, I honestly didn't know also what was happening. So I wasn't getting communication from the team or from the queen herself to some extent. But at some point now we started talking with the queen, Irene, and I was really just supporting her through it because she is going to represent Kenya. All these other things that are happening, Kukando, we will deal with them maybe when she comes back. So now she needs to get her head straight. So trying to support her, trying to be there for her when we can. And it was a very tough time also for us because everyone is now asking us, hey Stacey, what is happening with Miss Universe? I'm like, I know Miss Universe Kenya second runners up, and I honestly don't know
what's happening.
It is sad, but I honestly don't know, and I don't know how I can help. Yeah.
So I remember just before she left, in fact, when Miss Universe news came that she was coming to Kenya, my friend, the CEO for Centrum Hotels, called me and said, Liki, how can I, because they do pageantry. I was like, no, this is not my event, it's done by a Babu. And I think the organizer. So I called Susie and told her, these guys want to help you guys in terms of sponsorship. So you can talk to them. So I think they talked and they agreed to sponsor. Were you part of the journey that went to these three, the establishments of Centrum? Yes.
We went to Elementaita, the three of us, the queen, first runners up and second runners up, and it was such a beautiful time. The Centrum people are now like family. They're really amazing. They treated us so well. They gifted us. They're just amazing to us during that time we were there. I didn't manage to go. I think they went one more time in Amboseli and they just went to the queen. I think it was also closer to the time for her to go to Mexico. So I think they were just going to prepare her for her shoot. So they just went to the queen.
So you met the CEO?
Yes.
You met Mr. Gidure, marketing. Yeah. Those are great friends of mine. They're beautiful people. And one Kenyans like that can actually bring the dream of the beauty fauna that Kenya has. So I think 3-4 months before that, I did the ad for all the 6 establishments: Masai Mara, Amboseli, Mombasa, and Savo. So I was talking to the Minister of Tourism, Ms. Miano, that there's so much that we can do as beauty queens to promote first domestic before international, because all the queens go to an international pageant. And it's only fair when we carry the flag through the Ministry of Tourism, because we need guys to come back home. You're going to meet 100 and over girls. Give our girls training to go and talk about Kenya. They've never seen the opportunity, the chance that they can actually market. There's so much money that Ministry of Tourism use through Magical Kenya. But we need them to tap into our industry, and it's only the people with crowns like you who can be able to help the franchise owners to move this to reality.
Yes.
So I think there's been a talk a few months, Kenya bringing the modeling fraternity together, and I think you play a very big part in this. Could you briefly just explain to us what Kenya Association, why Modeling Association is, and what are your objectives?
Okay. So brief background into how I came into that.
Yes.
So as I'm a lawyer as well, so I am very interested in fighting for the rights of, human rights, rights of models, rights of creatives. So I've always looked for an opportunity to actually now step up and fight for the rights of models, because it's known that this industry is a beautiful industry, but we also go through a lot. So I wanted to be there to be able to support models, to be able to even help them navigate the industry. So when I heard there's an association being formed, I was like, I definitely want to be there. So it's called Kenya Models Association. I went. My major role actually there was to help them register as an advocate, but one of the objectives is to fight for the injustices of models, to try and regulate the industry. We need, as you said, when we see Miss Universe, when we see the standard that even Miss Universe 2024 brought, that is a kind of pageantry we want to see in this country. So we want to elevate every type of modeling in this country, and that's why we have the Kenya Modeling Association to try and regulate and make everything uniform and take Kenya to another level. Isikuwe ati models wanaonekana tu kama that's just a side career. No, we can actually make modeling a main career. So I think that is one of the goals of Kenya Models Association, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. I think the modeling and artists in this country are being neglected. When you go to Hollywood and New York, one of the biggest money making for America is arts.
Yeah.
I think before Lupita, people just thought it's Mama Kai's Vitimbi, and they just go and be paid peanuts and done. So when people realize there's money into it, I think government still has not learned something from that. I think when President Ruto went to America, to Hollywood, I don't know, I've not heard the report what exactly it was, but politicians will always be politicians. Butita went there to represent the arts. I don't think there was good presentation. I look forward to see one day when KMA will sit with the legislators to try and get us into the constitution budget. Some countries, the sponsorship comes from government, so there's full support to the international pageant. So I'm grateful. There's a vision. The guys who wish that in the next 2-3 years, pageant would have changed. Probably would be like the Filipinos, the Venezuelans, the Vietnamese, who worship and pray, worship and believe in pageantry. So you're done with the campus. You've gone to school of law. You're an advocate. You have that white staff.
Well, I hired it for for the admission. I hired it for the admission.
So you are a fully certified advocate.
Yes.
Great. So our queen here can represent you in court.
Yes.
So if you're having a problem, she supports and gives a lot of support to models.
Yes.
Most of us do not understand contracts. I think models just go and sign. There is always, they say, the person giving you the contract has some hidden agendas. So sometimes I think, like for me, on my beauty queens, they have a 17-page contract. So some, because they're excited, they'll just sign and not understand. So later on, we're fighting. Why did you talk to the media? The contract says you can't talk to the media before you talk to the franchise. So I'm happy there's somebody who is a model and understand the law that can help the pageantry be at the right path. Yeah, so we're almost done. And for me, I'm so grateful that you're here. At least there's a few things that people are learning in terms of pageantry. It's not just pleasure. It's hard work.
Yes.
And I keep telling guys, any career that you're in, like for example, football, rugby, you must put in effort. You must be able to calculate your ambitions to be at that place. So without further ado, I would like you to look at the camera and advice if there's a parent, there's a kid, there's a teenager who want to go into modeling and they're not sure. Most people don't do due diligence. What do they need to look for to realize this is the best place to be in? Because there's so many pageants anyway today. Yes.
Okay. So actually, even before I go to that, as
Yes.
you've said, I've started a modeling academy, and the reason I've started it is also so as to also regulate and streamline the industry. I want the people who go through my hands to be able to understand things like contracts. You know, there are the do's and don'ts, the red flags. You need to understand what it takes to be a pageant queen, what it takes to be a runway queen, what it takes to be in commercials. So I want to help regulate the industry, and that's one of the ways I'm doing it. And the advice I'd give someone maybe who's looking into starting modeling, don't give up. If it's actually a dream of yours, chase it with all you've got. I know there's school, there's work, and all these other things. Don't neglect them. Everything has a time and season. And when the season for you to shine as a model comes, go ahead and shine. Don't be afraid. Reach out to people who've gone ahead of you. Look for mentors in that space who will be able to work with you even as you become the model that you want to be. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It can be a tough industry to be in. It's not the easiest, even when it comes to making money. But if it is a talent and if it's something that you love doing, go ahead and do it. Yeah.
Wow. Well said, well put.
Yeah.
I think your second lawyer that I know in pageantry, one of the other lawyers, Deborah Senipe, was Miss Tourism 2001, practicing law in London. So again, just the title, I keep telling guys, this title will open doors for you. You go, your 5 lawyers, but because you say you partly did the catwalk, it gives you an extra. Not even just law, some opportunities for job and stuff like that. So thank you so much, guys, for being part of this, watching this. Keep watching, keep telling friends to subscribe. We just want to make sure we have numbers to understand what pageantry is all about. It has been misunderstood, abused, used. Like my guest has said, it's not the easiest industry. It can be very hard because one of the things, it involves flesh, and anywhere it involves flesh, there's always complication. So keep watching. This is episode 14, the second last of season 2. I hope you, if you haven't watched us, go back and watch. There's a lot of education in Sash Style. Thank you, Madam Advocate, for coming. And we'll call you back again and again to be able to help us in terms of streamlining the industry.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed my time here, and I'll always find time to share about the industry. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. On short notice, she was here. I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you.